Welcome to Lyme Support Network podcast, hosted by Holistic Therapy Tribe. In each episode, we talk with someone from the Lyme community, like a doctor, warrior, coach, advocate, or an entrepreneur, to hear their personal story and insights. Today, our focus is on a Lyme warrior. Our guest is Ashley Echols. So, Ashley, can you please briefly introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yes, my name is Ashley Echols, and I have battled Lyme disease for about 40 years now.
When and how your Lyme disease journey began?
Well, I was young. I had a lot of allergies. Doctors could not figure out what was going on with me. I had very weird, abnormal reactions. My face would swell up. I would have rashes. And that was about 4 years old. And then I don't know if you've ever heard of Bartonella. Bartonella is one of them. And yeah.
Co-infection.
And I was attacked by a cat when I was 8 years old. And so that on top of Lyme disease, I contracted around 3 to 4 years old. I was always outside playing. It was somewhat of a deadly combo in regards of just severe allergies, weird histamine responses. And then when I was 15, I got mono. And we all know how mono goes hand in hand, chronic Epstein-Barr with Lyme disease. And then that led to a multitude of other things later on in life. So it's been a very long journey. Yeah.
So what were the first symptoms and how long did it take to get diagnosed?
Oh my goodness. I was undiagnosed until 2016. So it took majority of my life. I went to wonderful doctors and no one thought to test me for Lyme disease.
Yeah. So how long you had, what do you think?
Well, so from 1985 until 2016, I had Lyme disease undiagnosed, and I was literally on Pinterest, scrolling Pinterest with all my weird symptoms of my chronic neck pain that I've always struggled with, particularly in the last few years. And it was just after childbirth and some surgeries, everything just got tremendously worse. And I had every checklist of the neurological, the physical, the severe fatigue, and the pain. And I told my husband, I said, I think I have Lyme disease. And he looked at me and he said, what is Lyme disease? And so we went to a functional clinic here in town, and sure enough, we did the testing. And she was like, wow, you have like almost every single band. How have you been going along? And I said, I don't know. I think it's adrenaline. I'm just a hyper person, but my body was finally starting just to shut down.
So how did your diagnosis impact your life? Personal, professional, and emotional lives?
Oh, I finally felt understood. I feel like so many other people I know that have Lyme disease, we feel like a lot of people perhaps think we're making it up, or these weird symptoms, or, I felt bad canceling events over the years, whether it was a work function or for a friend. I just couldn't leave the house at times. I just had severe brain fog. I couldn't think clearly. The thought of getting ready just seemed just impossible. And so it was such a relief to have an answer. But also I knew, I was like, okay, I have an answer now. I'm going to figure this out. There's always a solution. And so it gave me a purpose to try to figure out how to help myself and to help others. And it's really worked well in the industry I'm in. My husband owns a mold business. And so a lot of our patients, or clients rather, that have mold toxicity have Lyme disease. So it just goes hand in hand. I spoke to 2 people today that have Lyme disease. And so they always tell me, oh, you can understand. I'm like, I totally get it. So it's nice to actually have an answer.
The biggest pain that one can undergo is whoever is around us, they are telling us, you are making it up.
Yes.
But we are suffering. So I have personal experience in a similar nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is the hardest one to hit.
It is. It's very alienating. It is, because you may look just fine on the exterior, but they don't understand like the neck pain or the joint pain, or your legs feel so heavy, or your head hurts, your eyes hurt. I mean, it's just a multitude of things. It affects all of us differently. And so, yeah, it's very alienating until you realize, wait a second, actually, a lot more people have Lyme disease than they realize. So, yeah.
So what was the most challenging part of your journey early on?
Earlier on with Lyme, I will say starting the protocol when I got my diagnosis, the herxing, I don't know if you're familiar with herxing, but starting the protocol and detoxing, because are you familiar with the MTHFR mutation? That is one that I'm homozygous, so have a really challenging time detoxing. My detox pathways were not open. And so I was killing off the Lyme, but then I was holding on to those toxins. And so obviously when that stuff dies, it releases stuff to make you feel absolutely terrible. And so I felt it was worse than any flu, any mono, anything. It was absolutely terrible. And it was not fun. I mean, I looked pretty rough. I lost a bunch of weight, had to change my diet. It was just a huge learning curve. But, you know, you have to suffer a little bit before you get better. And then there was light at the end of the tunnel.
Did you face any misdiagnosis from doctors?
Oh, my entire life. Yes. My allergist, a doctor told my parents I would never have kids at the age of 15 years old with all these weird symptoms I had. I have had so many different, you know, like, oh, maybe depression when I was younger. There was various things. And no, it was, but the thing is they were doing what they thought was best. And have family members are doctors, you know, I don't fault them, but multiple different diagnoses. Allergies I always thought was normal. And then I realized that no, that is an immune response to something going on. And when I realized that, I said, oh my goodness, like there are so many other things going on in my body, and I don't necessarily have to have these allergies. If I get to the root cause, then maybe those allergies will subside and perhaps go away.
So approximately how many doctors and what modality tests you have tried?
How many doctors? Oh,
yeah.
That's probably embarrassing. I don't know. I would say, including functional doctors.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say probably since that age, I would say at least 30, I'd say 30 or so. Yeah. My parents tried everything. They took me everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is almost the same story with most of the Lyme warriors.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to send the message that this is how it is. So you are not an exception. Yeah. So how did you finally get the correct diagnosis?
On Pinterest, on social media. And then I went to a clinic here in East Tennessee, and she went over the diagnosis with me and said I had, you know, Lyme disease with Bartonella, Babesia, Mycoplasma, chronic Epstein-Barr, all these different things. And so she gave me a protocol to follow, and that is when I started the treatment plan.
So what was that modality?
The what now? I'm sorry, excuse me.
What was that modality? So is it naturopathy or
natural? Yeah, all herbal based. I did like the Caldin protocol, and then I ended up using biocidin. Are you familiar with the biocidin protocol? Actually, I have it. I saved it here in case you want to see it. It's this one, the LSF. This one is great. A lot of people I know that have Lyme. This has been very beneficial for them. It's all herbal, and it's just wonderful. And then I would, of course, take a binder at nighttime. And then I've used a ton of other things that have been really beneficial for me in my health.
Okay. So what actually that medicine will do? So it is doing something to do with the detox, or
it goes to the busts to the biofilm, because you know how Lyme is so smart.
Yeah.
And so it busts through the biofilm. And I started off very slowly with just 1 drop, and then I increased it to 2 drops, and then further along. But it was hard. I accidentally took like 4 drops one day, and I could not leave the house. It was a very severe herx. So yeah.
Okay, so this was by accident you found?
Yeah, by accident. I was just searching. I was in so much pain after childbirth, and I could no longer lift my neck up anymore. It was just unbearable. And my husband was like, you look like you're almost being crippled. And I said, I know. I went to every chiropractor, physical therapist, and they would help me feel better, but it wasn't helping that deep pain with the inflammation that I had. And then I found it and I diagnosed myself.
Did you explore holistic or integrative therapies? What worked best for you?
Yes, for sure. I love holistic therapies. I love Westernized medicine at certain times, but holistic is what has helped me the most. And so taking herbal protocols, I have a sauna at a very high temperature, at least 130 degrees, for, at least 20 minutes, 40 minutes if I can do it. Infrared, I love infrared as well. And then I have a Rife machine. Are you familiar with Rife technology?
No.
I love it. There's a book actually here. It's like it says, When Antibiotics Fail, Lyme Disease and Rife Machines. And I had some family members that went through cancer treatments. And so they discovered Rife machines and the technology. It's a frequency machine. And so I read about it and I ended up getting, it's called True Rife. And this is what I have recommended to everyone. This has been so beneficial to me. It is amazing. It has a couple thousand programs on there, and there's tons of Lyme disease programs, co-infections, Bartonella, Lyme, and there's various bulbs. And so whether I have a stationary bulb or I have a foot bath bulb, so they have detox foot baths, and it's all based on a frequency. And so I've used all of those. So there's just different bulb settings, and they have been such a blessing to me in my health, like truly a huge, huge blessing to me.
Okay. So can you explain to the audience what exactly it is in a high level?
In Rife machine. So Royal Rife was the founder of them. I don't have any affiliation with the company, but essentially it's a frequency. And so he discovered that frequencies can therefore help to a specific illness, whether it's cancer or Lyme disease or whatever it may be. And so when I first started running the Rife machine, I had to close my eyes. It was just like a severe herx. It was so powerful in a good way. And that's how I knew it was working. And so they literally kill it off. So you may have to do 10 sessions, 15 sessions of that specific program. And it's recommended on the computer screen. And it is, it takes time, and it's not a fast process. You have to be patient. And I mean, I've been using it for years. I don't use it as often now because I feel pretty good, but I use it maybe, a few times a month, whereas I used to use it every day. So, I'm very grateful for it. It really is. It's nothing weird. It's just totally a frequency, and it definitely works. A lot of people I know that have Lyme disease and other autoimmune conditions, they definitely have seen the benefits of it.
And whoever you have referred, so they got a similar effect?
Yes, absolutely. I know a lot of people that contribute Rife machines to why their Lyme is in remission. And I definitely contribute. That is one of the main factors, because I should not feel as well as I do today. So, yeah.
Yeah. So did any specific therapy or intervention brought noticeable relief in you?
The Rife machine foot bath. So I feel like a lot of us with Lyme, we just have all that throughout our body, and it's just like you can kill it off, but then you need it to come out. You need a binder. Like a lot of people I know will take like a charcoal GI detox, something at nighttime. I was doing that, but I still was holding on to the toxins. And so the foot bath, it is completely so helpful for me. So I would use this very specific programs. I would use like the liver programs, because my liver was really compromised with Lyme. And so the liver programs and the Lyme programs, those were really helpful in pulling the toxins out, because your body needs support to get those toxins out. Because if the stuff dies off, well, then it needs to exit as well.
So any idea what is the working principle behind it?
It is all frequency. And so even our words have frequencies. And so it's pretty interesting. And so the power, they say how like you can speak life or death into someone, the same thing. And so there is a frequency in everything. So they study the frequencies of illnesses. And so when they realize that there are certain frequencies that will stop perhaps that illness, and I'm not an expert by this on no means, but this is my interpretation, then it obviously is helpful in putting a lot of people in remission. It's helped a lot of people with various ailments.
How do you currently manage your symptoms?
How do I manage? Well, I've been pretty good the last few years, minus like some brain fog and some fatigue. And I now actually work with a nutraceutical company that it really has made all the difference in my health. And so I take a very simple regimen every day now. So I'm very blessed. I worked really hard to get there, but I still had those lingering symptoms and I don't have that anymore. And so I can sleep fine now. And I was struggling with that prior, but so I just take a certain line every day, and I take something at night, like a Purify Light Daily Detox at nighttime. And so I still just support my body. I eat gluten-free. I do limit refined sugars. I used to be gluten-free, dairy-free, and sugar-free. That was really hard. I was really hungry, and I definitely did not enjoy that, but I did feel really well. And so I do know that I probably should eat that way, particularly here in America. As we all know, the food here is not as healthy as it could be. And so, but the diet is very important. I don't drink alcohol. I have filtered water. I have reverse osmosis water at the house. I use my sauna. And then I use that regimen. I try to get exercise and, do vagus nerve breathing even. I mean, just certain things that help the body. I try to do that, but also live a good life at the same time without obsessing about it.
So you mentioned about the company you are working and they are doing.
Yes.
So what is that actually?
So it's 3. And so I helped launch it here in Tennessee after I started taking the products. So, I want to learn about anything that is holistic, that is plants. So when they told me it's 100% plants, John Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, all these different doctors that serve on the board, it really, opened my eyes to, okay, this sounds better than all of these other supplements that I've taken for years. And they all helped, but they have a standard delivery of if you absorb most standard vitamins, 5% if you have leaky gut, 10% if you don't have a leaky gut. But we all know ever since you had COVID, most people, if they have COVID, their stomachs typically are a little bit compromised. And so you don't absorb as much. What's nice about the company that I'm with is it is a cellular absorption technology. And so you absorb 70, 80, 90 plus %, and it's all 100% plant-based. And so I took it after 2 days because I still had a little bit lingering neck pain. And my brain fog was still there. My neck pain was gone. And I was so shocked. I thought, okay, maybe this is all in my head. Let's give it a few more days. Let's give it a week or 2. I still felt great. My brain fog was gone. I felt great. I had energy all day long. And so I said, okay, I definitely want to work with this company. And so started working with the company a few months ago, and I love it. I share it with others, and everyone else is loving it as well. So it's great.
So what is the name of the company?
It's 3 International, and they're actually already in 16 countries. And they a little over 2 years old, and they're headquartered out of Salt Lake City, Utah. But it is everything that with them, like here's one product like the collagen. Everything of theirs is in the PDR, the prescriber's digital reference, which is huge. There's only like 17 companies that have a nutraceutical or supplement in there. Every single one of their products, their Immune, their Revive, which this is great for inflammation, for Lyme disease. Oh my goodness, the pain, it's wonderful. The Purifying, and then this Vitality, which is amazing. It has your prebiotics, your probiotics, your digestive enzymes, your vitamins, your minerals, everything imaginable. They also have an Eternal, which is it's a glutathione, and it's like an IV, but you get it in a sachet packet, and it's a high cellular absorption. And they also utilize epigenetics, which is really cool. So it turns the good genes on. and turns the bad genes off. And so for those of us with Lyme disease, we need as much support as possible. And so when I started taking all of this, it was the best I have felt since I was probably, oh my goodness, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. And I said, oh my goodness, I feel great. I can think clearly. I, don't forget what I'm doing. It was just like, I feel like the way I should feel. And so it's been a complete game changer. So yeah, I work with the company and I love it. Absolutely love it.
Okay. So that is a good news. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried any lifestyle changes like diet, detox, etc.? And did they help you?
Yes, diet, definitely. I recommend anyone with Lyme, if they're first being diagnosed, like I will tell you, diet is key. I did not want to be Lyme. I did not want to be gluten, dairy, and sugar-free, but that really helps a lot because it's so inflammatory. The sugar, particularly refined sugar in the States here it's terrible for us. And the dairy is inflammatory, the gluten, the glyphosate. I mean, I think that is just really, really, really just too much on our bodies. Our bodies are already working really hard. So that was very important. The detoxing, I did use the Biocidin GI detox, and that worked fairly well, but it didn't work as well as what I'm using now. But the Rife machine, the foot bath is what helped me. But also I recommend anyone on their journey, like if they're in the States, like there's Hot Works, those are like a little, they're workout sauna rooms. And I used that for a few years before I got my own sauna. But an infrared light, that is just so healing and it's really good on decreasing inflammation. So I use that and that really makes a huge difference. So, I mean, it's definitely, you have to work, but it's okay. It's just part of the process.
So how important is mental health support in your healing process?
Huge. I know that I've connected with people that have Lyme and it affects all of us differently. And I know that one lady I remember speaking to her that her daughter just had severe, like, depression, a lot of different things going on. And so it really is important to, seek the appropriate treatment because we are all different. I am fully convinced. Everyone that I know here, just even locally, we all have different pains or we have more different neurological, or it just kind of varies. But I mean, it definitely can mimic so many other things. And I know that one of my friends, her daughter had a lot of things going on and she didn't realize, she thought it was just, depression and bipolar. And then turns out once they started treating the Lyme disease, that she ended up being a lot better, and so that's not the case for everyone by no means, but as we all know, Lyme mimics so many different things, and like ALS, Parkinson's, when they've studied the brains of those. My father, he passed away with Parkinson's, and he and I always hiked a lot, had a lot of tick bites. And so, I think that there's a lot more testing that could be done for all of us, but particularly for mental health. I definitely think that's very important.
Okay. So what kept you going during the darkest moments?
Honestly, having a relationship with my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Honestly, I know it sounds like a cliche statement, but that is the only reason. Because there were times where I thought I could not do this. Like it was really, like I mentioned, alienating. And a lot of people would always say, "Oh, but you look so healthy. Oh, you have so much energy. You're so good at what you do." And I'm like, they had no idea when I'd go home at night, I had to put my feet up and I was just exhausted. I just could not function. And so, but yeah, just praying and talking to God and taking care of my family instead of focusing on me and, realizing this is just one thing and not idolizing it, because I do know that in the beginning, it became almost like it was, I focus on it too much, if that makes any sense at all. And if I just took it day by day instead of stressing over the next year, it was a lot easier to manage. And so yeah, it was just praying really was the main thing though. Yeah.
So how did your family, friends, and community support during your recovery time?
Well, you probably heard this about some people. My immediate family, so supportive, amazing. Some family members did not
So,
believe it. And
you're very, very lucky.
I'm very lucky that I had my immediate family, because some people don't even have that.
Yeah.
I know some people here that I've spoke to, like their own parents don't even believe them. And that is so hard, because it's not like a concrete diagnosis. Like if you get a broke ankle, you see someone in that cast, they're in pain or they have an injury. You don't see that with someone with Lyme.
Yes.
And so I'm very, very grateful. I did have some family members that did not believe me. And I did drive a wedge in our relationship, because they would say, "Oh, you're just a hypochondriac." What is that? And they would just say, "Oh, you just have some fatigue. Well, join the rest of us." And I definitely took it personal, but then I realized that they don't know what they don't know. And so it's my job to educate them and to educate others, because just like with what you're doing here, it's bringing awareness and knowledge, because there is so much that needs to be learned, and it's just a lack of knowing. But yeah, a lot of people I know have lost relationships with family members, unfortunately, during their process.
So how do you stay mentally and emotionally resilient during this time?
Getting sleep. But a lot of people can't get sleep because they feel so sick, but I sleep well because of what I take. And I get vitamin D. I go outside every single day. But I'm a firm believer that we are supposed to be outside. I think we should be outside every day. I like nature. I think we should be out in nature. However, I am opposed to ticks. Actually had a tick on me last week, and thankfully it did not get me. I panicked, but I always carry like certain tick spray that's a safe one. But it's being out in nature, using my sauna, eating healthy, and taking the correct supplements. And I sleep well, because when I was not sleeping, I felt crazy. And when I sleep, I feel so much better. So, yeah.
So for in case of diet, you avoid sugar, gluten, and dairy. So anything else is there in you have put in that basket?
Well, this is, some people, I don't have sodas. I've never drank sodas. I think they're terrible for us. So like Coca-Colas and stuff like that. I also don't have anything peanut wise. That's very inflammatory. I also like coffee. I only drink mold-free coffee. A lot of people, particularly here in the States, drink those places that are everywhere in the corner. I don't want to name them, but they'll go and buy their, coffee there. And I'm like, that coffee is full of mold mycotoxins. And, so I make sure to buy mold-free coffee and drink that. Yeah, I don't consume junk. I'm just aware. I read things and I pay attention. I think that we all should, because we're all responsible for our health,
So some of the top junk foods in your mind that you want to tell the community to avoid?
Avoid. Oh yeah,
Yes.
I avoid. Well, I don't eat gluten, so obviously that cuts out a lot. But I don't have sodas. I don't have alcohol. I don't drink really bottled water unless I have to, because the plastics, that's just the microplastics, all the plastics in our body. Like with Lyme, we really are just more sensitive, so we need to limit that. But junk food. I mean, I don't really eat. I mean, I'll eat ice cream on occasion, but I just feel terrible if I eat that stuff. And I think we need to listen to our bodies. It's not normal to hurt all the time. And I thought that was normal. That was my normal, until I realized that I didn't have to feel that way. And so and I also don't consume nicotine or anything like that. I think that's crazy to do that. So.
Okay. So how can friends and family better support someone with the Lyme? So what is your advice to them?
Yes, that's a great question. I think that
because they don't know what to do.
I think they should listen. Like when someone talks to them, listen to them, like look them in their eyes and understand, okay, they're not just canceling going out to dinner with us because they want to cancel. I feel like they should actually think, instead of being upset for them canceling, thinking, you know what, maybe I should offer to bring them food. And there's just so many, because once going back to being alienating, it's like really encouraging them and like saying, hey, I would like, maybe ask, can you teach me more about this? Like, what do you feel like? And actually asking them questions, engaging. And then, seeing if they want to go on a walk together. Ask them, what do you do for your treatment? What do you do for your detox? And like actually get to know, because it really can be made fun of. I mean, I do know that colleagues years ago were like, oh, that's so funny, Lyme disease. And, it really was a running joke. And I said, no, you don't understand. It's just about having open conversation, truly just having good verbal communication. That makes all the difference.
Okay. So are you involved in any Lyme awareness or advocacy work?
I am not with a specific group. However, I would like to say I am, because of my family-owned business. We own a mold remediation business. So people call on a regular basis, hey, we would like to speak to the lady that has Lyme disease there. And so they will get their information and I'll call and talk to them. And so I talk to them on a regular basis. I don't charge anything. I just talk to them because at the end of the day, like, they're just like me. They want to be understood. Like a lot of them, they're buying a house and they're like, my realtor doesn't understand. They have mold in this crawl space. I cannot live there. And I'm like, oh, I get it, because I had mold toxicity as well. Like, I totally understand. And so that, and then also there's on social media, there's a few support groups. And so I was very active for years, commenting. I'm not as much now because I'm feeling better. And now, since you're asking me that, I'm thinking I probably need to communicate more on there to help others, because I was one searching for answers years ago.
Yeah. Are there any books, podcasts, or communities that helped you?
Yeah. This book, Bitten. This is a good book. And it's The Secret History of Lyme Disease and Biological Weapons. I love it. I think it's great. It tells people a lot about where Lyme came from and all that fun stuff. But also Facebook groups, because I'm a firm believer that stuff like this, talking with people, sometimes you learn a lot more than you are in a book.
Yes.
And so I think the Facebook support groups, Instagram pages such as yours, just reading the comments, connecting with others, that is so helpful. And then also the functional clinics in your area. So wherever anyone lives, if they have like a Lyme literate medical doctor, LLMD, or a functional practice that if they maybe offer like sauna, or they have like even I did some biofeedback as well. I don't know if you're familiar with that. The biofeedback was helpful for me at times. But yeah, that's what's helpful. The books, the Bitten book, and there's a few other books that I read that are good, but I think talking with people was very helpful.
Yeah. So what myths or misconceptions about Lyme disease would you like to clear up?
Well, I think the big one for me was my neck. So that neck pain, they would all say, oh, this right here is, you need to have chiropractic care. It was not chiropractic care. I went to so many chiropractors, a lot of chiropractors, lots. Spent money everywhere, and they were all great. Love them. They're all great people. However, just because you have neck pain does not mean that you just need to say chiropractor. It very well may be Lyme, because Lyme can hide in every different parts of the body. It can hide in your neck. It can hide anywhere for that matter. Another misconception is that it's just some mental disorder. I do know that one lady I met in a Lyme support group that I used to be involved in locally, a lot of people told her that, and that made her feel even worse. And it really, 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 it definitely negatively impacted her quite a bit. So I think the mental thing, but then also the antibiotics. So I am not a medical doctor. However, based on my experience, if you have chronic Lyme disease, antibiotics are not going to help you. And they will just, as you know, wreak havoc on the gut and everything else. And so, and then also, I had a friend, they argued with me and told me, they said, well, you can't have Lyme disease unless you have the red bullseye. And I was like, really? Well, I never had that red bullseye. And I have like so many different bands that are positive. And they told me according to, CDC and all these other things. And one thing that's interesting, I don't know if anyone's ever told you this. I know a family that they have multiple kids. The mother did not know she had Lyme disease. And when she was pregnant with all of them, and all of the kids had Lyme disease. And they contracted it in utero. And so I know that on the CDC, it used to not say that was correct. And now it's saying there are some cases. I think it's a lot more than just some cases.
Mm.
So,
yeah. If you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your past self?
To start a herbal protocol at a young age when I was, finding ticks on me, pulling them off, even though I didn't have a mark. Always hiking, I would get ticks, didn't do much to it. And now I'm like, oh my goodness, if I could help someone else to tell them to start on something immediately, I would do it. I was on a field trip, I know, a few months ago, and some kids had ticks on them. I was like, okay, you can either go to the doctor immediately, get an antibiotic like doxycycline or something like that, or go do something. And I'm like, just do something. Don't wait. And then also save the tick if you want to know. But, for the first 2 months, you're typically not even going to know what it is anyways, because it hides, because it affects the immune system and it's so smart. So I'm like, don't even if you don't have Lyme, I would still treat it, and just to be safe, because otherwise this is a lifelong thing. It's not that it mysteriously goes away. You have to work to keep it in remission because it can flare up under stress or anything at any given time.
Yeah. So what are some victories, big or small, you have celebrated recently?
I will say mine is having energy all day long. I used to around 3 o'clock every day. I would dread it. I would feel really tired. And here it is, 5:40 my time. I feel great. And so that's a huge victory, that I don't dread the afternoon and I have energy throughout the day. I can think clearly and, spend time with people that I want to spend time with and not cancel on them. So that's huge because, we have one life. I want to enjoy it while I can. So that's a huge, huge victory for me.
So what is your message of hope for fellow Lyme warriors listening today?
So I feel like on the Lyme disease support pages, a lot of people say, I don't have the money. I don't have the money to do it. And, I've mentioned like the Rife machine, that is expensive. So I get that a lot of people cannot necessarily instantly purchase that. But if they can do an herbal protocol, that is fairly inexpensive. And that is so helpful because that to break through the biofilm of the Lyme is so important. And if they can just start slowly, I encourage them to do that because they will feel better, but they need to remember they're going to feel worse before they feel better, like myself and others that I know, because we did feel really terrible when we were herxing in the die off of everything. But, just to take it one day at a time, because I did panic when I first got the diagnosis. I thought, I'm going to die. Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. And they're like, no, wait a second. I've had this forever. I'm not going to die. So, and you just have to slow down and breathe and just realize that all of our bodies are different, but at the end of the day, there are solutions, but we also need to take responsibility on our own and eat better, drink better. And I will say I would not be healthier if I drank sodas. If I drank sodas, drank alcohol, ate gluten, I would not be as well as I am now. So, we do have to take accountability for it ourselves as well. But there's hope as long as they try one thing and then try to open up their detox pathways by going to a sauna a few times a week. I'm telling you, just those two things would be so beneficial.
So in this podcast series, we had a couple of Lyme warriors. So all the warriors was telling about this diet, whatever you have told, plus the physical exercise, go to nature, then about the asana.
Yes.
So what you're telling is correct.
Yes, it's so true. Yes. And being outside makes all the difference, it really does. Like the vitamin D, and it helps you sleep better. It's amazing. Yeah.
now I am having a couple of rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So try to answer in one, two, or three words.
Okay.
So what food helped you most during the journey, during your recovery?
Blueberries. Yeah.
So how you measured that it is because of blueberry it happened?
No, it's just that it was sweet, so it made me feel like I was getting something sweet, like a dessert. But they were organic, so that does help because obviously the chemicals. But yeah, and they're healthy for you, so it worked. And they were easy. There wasn't any. I didn't have to cook. I could just grab them when I was tired.
Okay. So what hobby helped you feel better?
Being a mom, I say, yeah, being a parent. And if you're not a parent, doing something for someone else. Really, that's
Yes.
going back to the mental health. Like doing something for someone else, it makes you feel better.
One word that describes your Lyme journey.
Never ending. Yeah, I'd say never ending.
So your favorite self-care ritual?
You're going to laugh, but it's doing the foot baths. The foot baths with my Rife machine, because I just feel so good when I get them done. And it's in warm water, and you have an excuse to just sit there and put on your favorite show, whether it's a Netflix show you want to watch or something, and or read a book and just sit there. And then when you are done, you feel so good and you sleep so much better because the toxins are out of your body.
So coffee or herbal tea?
Well, mold-free coffee. Fabula is the brand that I love. Fabula, because it's mold mycotoxin free, and it is amazing. There's no acid in it. I like herbal teas as well, but I really don't drink those that much anymore because I drink an energy drink with the company that I'm with. So I know you asked for one answer, but there's like multiple answers. So, but the energy drink with my company, because it doesn't have taurine and it helps elevate your senses. You feel better, and it's a great. So I kind of like that one the best right now.
So that brings us to the end of this podcast episode. Ashley, thank you for joining us and sharing your powerful story and insights. Your honesty and strength are truly inspiring, and we deeply appreciate you being here today. To all our listeners, thank you for tuning in to this meaningful conversation. Healing is not always a straight path, but stories like Ashley's remind us that hope and progress can always possible. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who may need it, and don't forget to follow us for more real stories from the Lyme community. Until next time, stay strong, stay hopeful, and keep supporting one another. Thank you.
Thank you.